How are you, my people? Rokani David is here to obviously bring you this story. Ever since Sunday, guys, it was coming to 3 days without talking to you guys. I'm sorry about it, but the engagement sometimes really catch us up. But obviously, I want to let you know that we're here to obviously discuss Arsenal's Arsenal's charge to obviously improve that left wing. Diomande to Arsenal. If you watch the African Cup of Nations very well, this guy's name was really very sounding. And I think it resounded for a reason. I tell you, the guy has all what it takes to be one of the best, to be one of the best left forwards in the world. I saw him play for Ivory Coast, and I really got to know that the wide play or the wide attackers or the future of the wide attackers of Ivory Coast is in good hands, because Amadi Diallo, you see what he's doing at Manchester United and so on and so forth. The lad is really doing the needful. And when you go to this guy known as Diomande, guys, he's also very, very, very exciting. So continue to subscribe because we want to hit 29,000 subscribers. And how do you subscribe? Go into the lower left corner. There is a black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing the notification bell, that will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. And my name is Rokani David. Now, who brings this story? It's none other than 365 scores. They've told us that Arsenal are tracking RB Leipzig winger Yan Diomande. The 19-year-old is firmly on Arsenal's radar, but any potential move is expected to be in the summer only, with Leipzig unwilling to sell him this month. A fee of around 100 million euros could be required to sign Diomande. Now, from that side, we start it off with this story. Diomande to Arsenal. You understand? Now, Diomande to Arsenal, 19-year-old. You get? He's a left forward. And if you watch that game of Manchester United versus Arsenal, you saw the problems that Arsenal really having. Arsenal really lack a player out of the wide areas of the pitch to take off players. Trossard is good, but I think you need a more robust player. You need a player with the pace of Martinelli and the skill set of Trossard. And I think that's why you see to it that when I talk about Rafael, Rodrigo, and Diomande, I think you see how Arsenal really shaping up this. The Bacolas, they are all in that mold. They don't really hold one of the attributes of Martinelli or Leandro Trossard. They hold all those attributes together. They are fast and they can act well in tight spaces. One of the problems that Arsenal is going to have to face this season is that teams play a low block and they really put in lots of bodies. And you saw to it that for Manchester United, they really put out very many bodies into that 18ers box area. And the manager had to do a very big mistake. Taking off Martin Odegaard, a player who acts well in tight spaces, and brought on a Belechi Eze, who is not good in those moments. And just to it that he was not playing centrally, he was really shifting so much onto the out wide left, and entering into the midfield, meaning that you are missing an Odegaard kind of player who was really playing the central axis. You understand? So through doing that, what does Arsenal have to do? Arsenal have to get in players, or a player that can really take off players. And that player is Diomande that they are really looking at. And this is the fourth player they've gone ahead to scout and add onto that list. The first video I did was about Rafael. Then I did Rodrigo. I did Bacola. And there comes a player known as Diomande. And for your information, as we head to the summer, you are going to hear more stories like this. You're going to see Arsenal linked to very many players of this caliber, I tell you. You are going to really see Arsenal being linked onto very many players of this caliber, I tell you. So, Diomande is a good player, and I think can solve Arsenal problems in there. He is 19 years old. And he was born in Ivory Coast. He's 1.8 meters tall. That is it. And when you look at his age, it speaks volumes, meaning that if Arsenal can get him this year, he can obviously be seen as a homegrown player at the club of Arsenal because he's 19 and he'll be having 20, 21, 2 seasons in. And I think that can help him really be one of those players that can be put in as a homegrown player in there for you. Because if you come in through before you hit 21 years of age, before you hit 2021, then if you get in some good minutes and some good time, you can be regarded as a homegrown player. That is it. So this season for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga, he has gone ahead to play 18 matches, 7 goals and 3 assists. So looks like the lad is obviously going to be hitting double figures of goals and assists. And they are calling in for 100 million euros to obviously sign the player. So 100 million euros for Diomande. You get 100 million euros for the guy. So is he worth it? When you look at the prices at which players are leaving the Bundesliga to come to the Premier League, I tell you, this is not news and you cannot really wonder. And the competition is really huge. Man United is eyeing him, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, almost every top Premier League club is really eyeing for the services or fighting for the services of this lad. And that really sends you a message that he's a special kind of player. And I've always told you that each and every time you see to it that teams are really looking out for a player in plenty, hence causing a bidding war. You really understand that there is quality in that particular player. So, Diomande, for me, will be a very good signing for Arsenal. But, hear me out. The levels at which Arsenal are not in getting in players like Diomande. He's still a raw product or a raw diamond that needs to be polished, That is the reason as to why he is really below my ladder. And that's why I could go in for Rodrigo first. If not Rodrigo, I go in for Bacola. And thirdly, I go in for Rafael. Unless those all fail, that's when I go in for Diomande. But Bacola, he has the experience, has won the Champions League with PSG, and he knows exactly what to do in such big games in there. And when you look at Rodrigo, he needs no further explanation. You've watched him at Real Madrid, 24 years of age, still young, but the experience, really huge. Big head on young shoulders. That's what we can call him, Rodrigo. And for me, the best player that Arsenal could get in the summer as a left forward to really bolster that side, I see him as a Rodrigo. I tell you this. It's only Rodrigo that I think can come up and obviously put in what is really missing. I can tell you, if you look at that game of Manchester United, if Arsenal had a Rodrigo with them, things would have not gone in the favor of Man United because Rodrigo could produce a moment of magic. That's why you saw you couldn't obviously bring on Martinelli because United was playing a low block and they were inviting pressure left, right, and center. You understand? So, the guy that we are talking about, Diomande, right, is really one of those that I think is good. His future is really bright. And if you're a team like Arsenal is competing for trophies, you can't go in for raw diamonds in positions where you need a player that is really proven. You get? And this is where you go in for Rodrigo with a winning mentality that Diomande doesn't have, that Rafael doesn't have, that Bacola doesn't have. Among us with the players left forward that Arsenal is being linked to, I think the favorite for me should be none other than Rodrigo. But I call in for your reactions into the comment section below about Diomande, right? Diomande to Arsenal transfer hint. Not coming in January, but he is considered for the summer and the price is 100 million euros. But I think Arsenal can get in Rodrigo for 80, you get? And I think Rodrigo is a better option. But Diomande is one of those players that if I'm the player, I also make a decision not to come at Arsenal because the competition is really going to be tight. We out.